Pluto shifts forward in Aquarius, stirring deep change for collective awareness and renewal. Let's see what the cards have to say. On Monday, October 13th, Pluto goes direct in Aquarius. Now, I've got a lot to say about this in the open, just to be able to give you an idea of the impact of what's happening with Pluto. So Pluto is the transformation, rebirth, subconscious, power and control planet, profound depth energy that connects to us and helps us be able to transform and rebirth ourselves, death and rebirth, etc. It is going to be direct until May 6th of 2026, so about 7 months. It is a very, very long transit. Yeah, I have long ass transit on my note. So I'm going to give you a bit of a background on Pluto so that you can have an understanding of what's going on with this planet and how it can affect you. If you're a Capricorn, you would have felt Pluto for a long while, a couple of decades now, and it is officially shifted into a new sign, or the sign of Aquarius. It officially moved into Aquarius on November 19th of 2024. Before that, it was doing a bit of a little retrograde dance, which it will continue to do. It's going to remain in Aquarius until March 8th of 2042. That is a little shy of 20 years. So these are really long transits, right? It's going to do the retrograde dance, which every year it retrogrades for about 5 or 6 months. So, it will retrograde, but it's going to retrograde in Aquarius. It's going to be in Aquarius for, again, about 20 years. The next one starts on May 6th. 2026, that's the next retrograde cycle. So we have Pluto direct in Aquarius for 7 months for a while, right? It'll be direct until then. So again, change, rebirth, transformation, digging into your subconscious, looking at the power and control aspects of your life and within yourself. That is what Pluto is all about, and it's a very long transit. Again, if you are a Capricorn or you have Capricorn placements, I'm going to raise my hand. The last 20 years may have felt like you were doing some deep work, and now we're in Aquarius, and we're direct, which is exciting. So let's read the blurb from astrology.com so that you can have a bit of an idea of how they describe it. It says, as we transition into the cold winter months, the planet of transformation inspires us to reflect on our community and how we can enhance it during this harvest season. It's the perfect time for volunteering, collaborating with neighbors, and letting go of what no longer serves us. So Pluto in Aquarian energy asks us to look to the collective a bit more, right? To be able to transform that. So it's a very interesting energy. We're going to be opening up to community energy, as the blurb says, volunteering, collaborating with others, being innovative to transform things will be themes over the next 20 years. Long way to go, but let's see how this Pluto direct is going to guide us here again for about the next 7 months until it will retrograde again next year. Okay, we've got a 7 roll with hopefully you saw that and I dropped it. It's a 4. That was a 4 and a 3. Do I need to no, they're saying I can leave that. So here's the 3, the 4 fell. So that's a 7, a 4 and a 3. Collaborative energy from the heart, creative energy for stability. So as you're working in communities or you're looking around yourself and saying, how can I serve? How can I help to transform things for the bigger whole, etc., you're going to want to do that from a heart-centered place. That's what this role feels like. You want to be able to aid the collective from a loving place, not out of lower frequency energies, right? We don't want to be stirring things up in community energy. This is like Threes are about creativity and collaboration, which is wonderful, especially when you have a four, rolling hearts with a four. I feel like, like if you're not, the rolling of the four out of my hand like that, if you're not coming from a place of love in your communities and you're trying to aid there, it's almost like they're saying, forget it. Like, don't do that, right? Pay attention to where you're coming from a low frequency place and you're not coming from a place of love when you go to collaborate with people, because that is not the goal. We need to transform that energy to be loving as we collaborate, to be loving in how we create things and innovate things. Okay, let's get these cards shuffled up so we can see what our guidance is. All right. The Oracle, taking risks. Bird of prey there, flying high in the sky. There it is close up. This is an interesting card to have here with Pluto direct in Aquarius here, especially because we're just beginning that long run for Pluto. What they're saying is you may need to actually look at jumping into something different or risking you see the viewpoint. It's like this bird of prey understands when it's meant to take an intuitive risk. It innately knows that. It's not really guessing. So it's like a calculated risk. If you're feeling like you need to change things or there is some kind of innovation that needs to take shape for yourself and those around you or for those that you support or, in your workplaces or in your home, this may be the perfect time to do that. It's like changes taking shape and it involves some sort of risk. Does not need to be some impulsive energy connected to it. Of course, we'll see what the tarot brings in just a second, but I don't feel immediately like we should be taking impulsive risks, especially because we're really just beginning these collective changes and tapping into how we can collaborate in a different way. I do feel like what they're signaling is you probably know something needs to shift or change, or maybe you're looking at the future and how you want things to be different. And right now, in this moment, it may feel like it is a little bit scary, maybe have a bit of anxiety or fear around it. Maybe it does feel like a risk. I would say do what you can to set yourself up for the feeling of love, right? Coming from a place of love so that, not that it dulls the fear energy, but love is the opposite of fear. So if you have fears going on in your head, if you return to your heart center around it and look from that perspective, right? Bird of prey flying high above, you may find that there are things you can do to prepare yourself to take a calculated risk as opposed to just jumping in blindly. I don't feel like this is blind energy. I feel like it is something that needs to be shifted, changed, transformed. Maybe something needs to be clean slated and then, you want to start something brand new, and that can feel risky, but it is the time. Your intuition's going to know it. The bird works off innate ability. So instinct, right? We'll know it. You'll have to get by your mind, of course, as we all do when it presents us with fear of change, because your mind's just a calculation. It wants to keep you safe. It wants to keep you protected. And change is the enemy of that. So anytime you want to shift something or change something, or maybe you're having a big transformation in a certain area of your life, you're looking at a new way to work, a new job, a new way to live, a different place to live, working in your relationships differently, showing up in a different way, transforming yourself, feeling the rebirth. Your brain's going to go, excuse me, I don't like that. I'm not going to really go for that. Actually, can we just keep doing what it is we were doing? Even if it doesn't feel good to your heart center, your brain's going to say, but we know what that is. So it's comfortable. I like to keep us there, please. Why would you want to change things? But sometimes it's, the time to innovate. It's the time to collaborate differently. It's the time to make that leap or take that calculated risk. And that's what's coming up here. So think about it, I would say. Notice what your mind is doing. Let's see what the tarot has. The Two of Swords. Right. Precisely. I mean, spirit is spirit. The cards don't lie. There's the Two of Swords, which is the energy I'm talking about, right? Like, this is indecision energy. A Two of Swords is about really needing to tap in to what your intuition is saying and which way you're meant to go, right? Like, how are you actually being led? The Two of Swords, as you can see, she's blindfolded and she's got those swords. She's asking, let me see this. Yeah. That's nice. They've depicted her here with her arms crossing her heart, right? So she's tuning in. She's not looking with her eyes to calculate with her mind. She's tuning in to the truth. She's trying to get the divine connection going so that she understands what is the best way to move. And that is my phone. I'm gonna pause and shut that off. Okay, I'm back, and it turns out that was an important call that I needed to answer in order to make a decision, so very fitting for what we're talking about. So I'm glad that I was interrupted, but now we're officially on Do Not Disturb. Back to the Two of Swords. Again, the Two of Swords is a decision-making card. She's got her hands crossed over her heart, holding these swords in order to be able to feel into what the best direction for her to go is. What is the best choice for her to make? This is the suit of air when we're talking about swords. So this is a contention between your mind or your ego and your heart center. She's trying to tap into the connection that she has to her intuition in order to be able to, in this case, take the risk that she feels is most aligned for her at this time. You want to wait when you have a Two of Swords if you're not sure. You want to be able to go within yourself and listen to your heart center to make the best decision or to understand the truth or what is sitting pretty in your intuition. So they're telling us, yes, it's important to transform things, to innovate, to collaborate, to work together, to take those risks, to jump in. And it's important to mind your mind at the same time, because your mind may be wanting you to be rash without getting the information and without tuning in. This combination of cards for this longer term aspect asks us, or reminds us is a better way to say it, reminds us that all the decisions that we need to make come from within. The intuitive compass is what is going to point you in the best direction at all times. You may be or find yourself in indecision about things. And if your intuition isn't accessed, you may be running off old narratives, old ways. And right now we're moving into an innovative energy where things do need to be transformed. And those things are going to be popping up, and we're going to be working up against those kind of things. They're going to be showing up for us to take a look at what it is we are trying to control that maybe we don't need to control anymore, or we had no control over in the first place, where it is we need to hop onto a new way of doing things or a new path to make a decision that is best for us. And our own intuition is what's going to guide us. So it's important for you to continuously check in. Remember, if you have any choice to make, sit with yourself. You'll find the truth. You'll know the truth. It's always there within. And sometimes this can cloud things. And Pluto, again, is a long aspect. So there's probably going to be the shedding of old narratives, old ways of thinking, old ways of doing things in general. And this is a calculated risk. So you've got some time. You don't need to rush or hurry up and make a choice. Remember to give yourself the time and space to listen intuitively within. Listen to your heart, and then wait for the directional arrow. And at that point, you're going to need to overcome that energy in your mind that's telling you, no, don't change. Don't do that. That's different. That's different. You've got to be able to take that risk and allow yourself to embark upon that path to get to the next decision. The only other thing they want me to say is you'll always need to make another choice. So if your mind is telling you that this is it, this is all, it's everything hinges on this, generally speaking, that's a big fat illusion. Everything changes all the time, and you make this choice to get to the next choice, to get to the next choice. That's your free will working. And even if it feels like a bit of a risk, there's going to be another choice that you're going to have to make coming right up. You can always choose again. Let's see what we have. Flora Charm. Okay. The Starfish. Starfish charm. The starfish charm is actually really lovely to have here because anything with a star is going to connect to possibilities, especially the starfish. Unlimited possibilities, infinite possibilities. Connect to your dreams, connect to what you want for yourself, connect to the future, right? But the starfish in particular is great because what happens with the starfish is natural transformation and rebirth, right? If it loses a limb, it regrows the limb, okay? So you're resilient and you're strong. And if things need to fall away, or if mistakes have been made, or if things are transforming, or if you need a rebirth in a certain area, or if you're jumping into something that feels like it's a risk to you, but your heart knows that it's right, don't be afraid to, they're saying like, don't be afraid to live. Don't be afraid to live your life because you can regenerate yourself. You can rejuvenate yourself. You can rebirth yourself, right? It's possible. We do it all the time. That's what this energy is about. And the starfish wants you to remember that. There are infinite possibilities and it's time to go for some of those. Trust your instincts, trust your innate wisdom that will lead you and will guide you always in the right direction. You're going to need to continue to make choices in that alignment the best you can to the best of your ability. And if something happens along the way where something falls away or you do make an error or a mistake, it's like failures are great too. We'll just regenerate from there. We'll just rebirth from there. We'll just transform something to make it even better next time. Wow, this is an energy for sure. Keep checking in with yourself. It's very important. And be willing to take those risks, like Spirit's saying. Live life as the starfish, basically. Okay, to couple this energy today, we also have Venus entering Libra, which of course is a much shorter term aspect. You can find out what guidance is connected to that lovely energy in that particular video, and check out the Astro playlist for all the intuitive astrology insight that I'm chatting about moving forward. Don't forget to subscribe, and thank you so much for watching.